Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to ES, Dow Jones, and EURUSD review. I'm going to go over all three tickers real quick, show you the setups that were available, how I traded them, and we'll go from there. So first and foremost, we absolutely rocked all three tickers as usual. Pay attention or get left behind. Happy to share my education with you daily. This took years of hard work. The white lines are major lines. I'm looking for setups at those levels. Orange lines are minor, usually for confluence, sometimes for setups, but we'll go into that when it's necessary. The first setup I had that was A plus was going to be a failed breakdown, whether it was of this clear low or this clear low. Seeing as they were pretty nearby, I figured we would get a very shallow failed breakdown, and we literally undercut it by maybe not even a point here at around 9 o'clock. I want to go over how to trade that. So I'm going to go to a 1 minute chart so you can really see the details in this. The low was about right here around, let's say 68.18. So we initially lost it here at 9.10. The green line is about 5 points above that low. Typically what I like to use in ES, when you have such a shallow failed breakdown, potentially I'm okay with going a little less on my other tickers, but this is just kind of what I've learned and what I've applied over the past few years. So I use that. So 5 points was about right here. And I want to see the ticker go above the trigger, maybe sell back and then push above, or sell above, push above, and then sell back down, then go back above. So essentially that's what we did here. We pushed above and then we sold back down. That's my acceptance. And then we start pushing back up, and that's my trigger. Very simple, very straightforward. On the 1 minute chart, as you can see, after a while, it just kind of stuck around there for a few more minutes, and then we popped up. There was a level right above here, but that was too close to the entry. So I was using 68.30 as the level for first profit take, and that worked out very well. In a matter of less than 10 minutes, that trade was resolved, and we were left with a runner, which was pretty much valid for the rest of the day. The second possible trade would have been a dip in recovery of 68.25. You can see how we hit it, sold down, came back, hit it again, sold down. Never really stayed above for at least a minute or so. Even when we were above, we came back down each time before the close of the candle. So that tells you that we didn't stay above. If we closed above the candle for a minute or two, then I'm more intrigued. But very clearly you can see we never did, not even here. And then finally, we did push above at 9.25 and held above at 9.26. One could have longed. The first target, honestly, would have been 68.30 if you want to be less risky. But because of the great acceptance, you could potentially have waited for 68.35 or somewhere in the middle. Both ways, you would have been fine. The last setup here was the acceptance and reclaim of 68.30. While you can see we bounced here once and sold down, we came here and accepted it for a while. Nice little sell-off here, back testing the entry from the first failed breakdown, back testing 68.25, accepting very well, and then we triggered that at 9.31 right at the bell. That popped right up for a quick 5 points as well. So that was how you would have traded all three different setups there. Going to a 15-minute chart and resetting here real quick on ES. You can't see much of that on the 15-minute chart. That's why I showed you guys all that information. Now, one more thing I would mention, we were about 30 points from the high when we sold into this area. So I'm looking for a setup. Like when you're 30 points selling, you're going to get some type of setup typically at some point, unless we just start rainfalling. But we always wait for acceptance anyway, so it doesn't matter. There's clear acceptance on all three of those setups there. So good to go. Let's move now to Dow Jones, where we also hit a home run today. Go watch my last video. I mentioned some failed breakdowns of these lows, but the first clear setup that was possible would have been a dip in recovery of the same level that produced 5 potential longs yesterday, 47.45 zone. I really don't know what else to say besides the fact that hard work pays off. We had a little mini low to work with here that you can only see on a 5 minute. I'll show you really briefly here. Excuse me while I reset the chart. 1 second here. Okay, so you had a little low right here that went from about 47.47 to a high of about 47.69. So you're looking at 22 points. That's an awesome low, especially in Dow Jones, which I would say moves typically at about 2/3 maybe the rate of ES. That's not always in specific, but just in general, maybe a random number I can think of potentially. So 22 points would equal to maybe 30 points in ES. And we just mentioned in ES that 30-point sell had me intrigued. So all I can say is listen up and pay attention. These are little golden notes that will expedite your learning on how these markets move and how you can trade them. So my first setup, like I had mentioned, was a dip in recovery of this level. I know there was a little mini low that I wanted to work with from yesterday afternoon. So if we lost that and recovered it, I'd be very open to it. We lost it exactly at 9:05 and we back tested it for at least 10-15 minutes until we finally pushed above here at 9:25. About 4 points or so above the level is about 47.97. Maybe you can go another point or so above if you want. That will put you right around here, and you can see how we back tested this right here to the exact spot. Give me 1 second here. I do want to do some research while I'm talking to you guys. So 46.9, add 4 points would make it 509. And would you look at that? We back tested the entry to the exact point on what would have been a failed breakdown or liquidity sweep of this Tuesday afternoon low. Many ways you could play it. You could have gone straight forward with a dip in recovery. We had nice acceptance for over 10-15 minutes before we started pushing up at 9:25. One can long, couple points above the level, so around 47.47 would have been fine. That worked out great. Also, you could have just went with the failed breakdown here. There was not much acceptance, so you would have just went long after it stayed above the trigger for a minute or two. And let's see real quick on a 1 minute chart what that looked like, just so you would understand what you're seeing in real time. You can see how we pushed above at 9:30. We sat above for at least 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes, and we started selling down, and we started pushing right back up at 9:34. You can go long there, even if you're a couple points above, because of the clear acceptance, and you're clear of the 4 or 5 point zone above that previous low. And then that popped right away for 5-6 points to this next level up. You could take that profit and then sit on your runner afterwards, which there was still another setup we had. Very, very generous day here in Dow Jones as well. Great education. If you're paying attention, please, please, please listen up. We had a shelf of lows right here overnight. 1, 2, 3, 4. We sold right through the level and sold back down, acceptance. And we started pushing back up, trigger. 9:55-ish, you can go long once you're above. You can go a couple points, you can wait for it to clear, whatever you feel comfortable. This went for 8 points right off the bat if you went long, like 1 or 2 points above, as I mentioned. Offered a second entry as well as another chance at acceptance. So if you missed this and you were still waiting, see how we bounced up and held that level. You could have gone long there as well, and that worked beautifully. We hit this level, accepted it, sold down, right back up, one more little sell, then pushed up. If you entered this, you would have had a little bit of a drawdown, a little bit of patience would have been required from 11:15 until 12:10 for almost an hour, but then eventually we did start pushing back up. We hit this zone, and now we kind of just sat on that for a couple hours. And I think we had snow earnings, so we back tested this zone and started pushing up. I will do setups later at some point, but just looking at Dow Jones right now, the first setup I would see is some type of back test at this level. You'd be selling at least 25-30 points into it. In Dow Jones, that's a pretty big sell. So you're looking at some type of dip in recovery. Oh my God, excuse me. Otherwise, maybe some structure could be built. That would give us a better opportunity. Maybe we sell down here, back test this level, and then sell again, allowing us to have more certainty with a dip in recovery and a little mini failed breakdown. Otherwise, we could be looking at probably a back test of this breakout level one more time. Hopefully we get more structure, and then otherwise going more down, a failed breakdown of today's low will be excellent news. Maybe we don't get as low as the low and we stop right around this magical 47.45 level, and who knows, that could produce another long for us. And I'm going to finish off real quick with EURUSD, also my baby now. I'm back in the game. We're locked in. I left you guys off in the morning. I'm actually not sure where I left you guys off, but I was anticipating a couple different setups and they were all valid. Initially, I was looking for a failed breakdown of this low right here. There was not much to work with, but this shelf of lows right here. So if we undercut it, I was willing to go long. But you can notice right here that we never got above it after we sold underneath. See how we sold down? And we came back up and rejected exactly at my trigger multiple times. Never lost this low, but we did end up losing it here. I went long. It was perfect. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the green was the trigger. We lost it. I pushed through. We got my points. Rejected at this trigger for this level again. Came back and set up another fail breakdown exactly at that level. I re-entered, took my points, and then we rejected again at that trigger. Sold back down. Plenty of acceptance. And then what do we do the next time we come up there? We push through. If you went long here, you would have not lost either because we sold back down, never lost these lows. Your position should stay open. We came up and hit the top of this bull flag we're looking at. Didn't quite hit this resistance zone. Maybe the zone is wrong, but more than likely we'll hit it before we sell a little bit. I'm usually pretty good with these things. We came back and retested this acceptance zone and bounced now for 7 points. That would have been a good trade in itself. That is the update for today afternoon on all three triggers. I'm going to go through the charts, get some new setups, and thank you for all your support, guys. Have a great night.